Good morning, as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful Wednesday morning, December 18th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, Francis Ann, and then, of course, the likes of you out there that make it your business to enhance and fortify this concept called public access, rightfully so, because from beginning to end and all around 360 degrees, that it spells nothing but goodness and positive um, rhythm, um, action, becoming energy, substance, and so many wonderful positive values that come together to make it possible and to create this wonderful stage to be available and at the disposal of whomever is showing any kind of willingness to become a producer, or just become someone who's just a part of this wonderful station of ours here at the east end of Long Island. I've been doing it for many years. Um, there's 38 years with LTV, and I don't feel that there's any kind of signs of wondering, doubting, or questioning. Just kind of going with the flow. And in that sense, the reward is immediate and it's evident. And you have a wonderful group of producers, which you yourselves can become producers here at LTV to realize your desires and the need for expression, and to have, of course, a stage available for that to take place. Um, we have the monthly group archers here. We've been doing it for 28 years. We have 9 artists here that are going to be on display through the first week of January. And so we urge you strongly to come and visit LTV and to see uh, that taking place. And also, maybe while you're doing that, you can acquire some information about how you yourselves can become producers and make a difference for your own sake and for the sake of the community, of course. I mean, I've been with this particular show since Fraser Dougherty, God bless his soul, urged me to take over the show that he started in, I think, 1979 or 1980, out of his home in East Hampton and the old facility on Springs Fireplace Road. So, 98, 99, they approached me and said, you're the one. And the rest is history. So you talk about 26, 27 years, specifically here with my ordeals with the show, the Hello Hello Show. Of course, from 87 to 98, I used to strictly engage in night tapes. So I would go around and film all the way from jam sessions at the Talk House, or just my walk to the post office, or my ride in the morning to the station. Uh, so that would be, late night display of 2 hours daily. Did that for 11 years. So yeah, and we crossed. I personally crossed the barrier of 6,000 shows, and Fraser Dougherty in the time span of 20 years himself that he did the Hello Hello Show. He exceeded about 4,000 shows. So you're looking at about 10,000 shows of the Hello Hello Show in the 4 decades that we're here with this particular show. And then, of course, the need to succumb to that which kind of finds itself at the doorstep of every part of the journey that you take. This journey that by nature is so creative and so rewarding, and so, yeah, I dare say, maybe even okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, technology. So it's interesting how living alongside this concept called public access matches so much of the logic and the common sense and the requirements that a sturdy daily life with mixed with desires to create and to be uh, useful uh, is made so possible. I mean, you look around the world. Of course, we're not the only democracy in the world, but you look around the world, and people spell and feel and act upon freedom and freedom of speech in a somewhat of a different fashion than we do here. And I don't know to what extent the nature of public access is available, even in the countries where people have a say and a stage. I would like to think that indeed that's the case, and that when people speak of freedom and democracy, that it will materialize itself to make that stage available. That you don't have to fight or to struggle or to toil or to face too many obstacles as you try to utilize an available stage by way of public access. Um, Here in the United States of America, I don't think that that's the case. I think it's a smooth ride, and I think that any individual out there can approach uh, and he himself or she herself can actually bring to life an entity, i.e., like a TV station. Obviously, it's not that difficult today. When we started here at LTV, things were rough and they were difficult and they were challenging, and it was like all these huge beta tapes and VHS tapes, and everything was like everything. I mean, 6,000 VHS tapes is a lot. I mean, when you think about 6,000 VHS tape, you just need a flash drive of 5 terabyte, and you're good to go. And you kind of walk with it. 10,000 shows in your pocket today, and all you need is really a good iPhone um, or an iPad, not even a computer, and you can run a station. So things of this nature. But to have that available in order for you to discover who you are and to discover about yourself, and that this process of discovery is taking place along in 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 the midst of your engagement uh, every time you find yourself in the station with guests or just monologues or just finding out about your capability. I never thought that I can sit like I am doing right now, and I know that if I have an hour ahead of me, I have no reservations at all, none whatsoever, whether I'm capable of doing it or not. And if I have a guest that I don't know anything about, I maybe know the very basics, never met the guests, never prepared, I will have no doubt or wondering whether I'm capable of engaging and creating a 1 hour interaction by way of an interview or however you want to call it. Not even a remote possibility. It's a given. This given is actually being formed on the behalf of that go ahead and do as you wish, go ahead and pursue your plan kind of attitude that public access is sending forth for you to understand and to evaluate and to value and to utilize and to take benefit of, take advantage of. So in in the process of in the process of in the process of self-realization, that's really what I want to communicate with you. And in the process of understanding the potential of self-realizations, as far as you people out there, you producers out there, you creative individuals out there, you artists out there, you just regular, down to earth human beings. Uh, the learning about your capabilities and doing something about it every time you get the chance to do it. And that self-discovery is nothing short of a miracle every time it takes place. When I feel it after all these 3-4 decades, I still have that the uh, the inner challenge as I sit here, and I know, okay, what did I do? I did 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There's another 50 minutes. 50 minutes. There's another hour. So realizing the that which constantly unfolds and becomes available to be externalized by way of speech or gestures or however or behavior is something that is challenging, not by essence but by volume. There's so much to digest, there's so much to sort through, there's so much to make decisions over, and there's so much to utilize and to say, okay, now I'm ready to utter the first sentence or idea or a lack of one. Talk about that which is there in abundance and that which lacks completely, and create something out of nothing, which is really the basics of the mysticism behind Kabbalah and behind so many entities that want to tell you about the soul, about the inner feelings, about the subconscious, about your instincts, and so much that the mind is involved in as it shoots its order and as it accumulates its understanding of the body and the soul and the source from which it's embarking in. And the process of fusion that takes place that the human being itself is not aware of. We don't have any recollection when the spirit hit that flesh to make us who we are. With what you see right now, there's zero knowledge about it. There is an imagination, and there is a permission to utilize your imagination to imagine any kind of understanding, and that I highly encourage. Like, I'm actually gonna take the advantage, take a bite of this wonderful, delicious thing. Mm-mm. Mm. So this morning, I was driving, and suddenly this thing came to my mind because I was thinking about Einstein's theory of relativity. Not that I know much about it, but I was remember. I never forget the first explanation that someone gave me about if there's like a train station that happens to be 400,000 miles long, and there's a train that's crossing the station that travels in the speed of 400,000 miles a second. So as it passes the station, one would assume that it would take 1 second for the train to cross that distance because it travels in the same in the speed that requires 1 second to cross the station. And then the whole idea is that the people who happen to be in the side the train will experience 3/4 of a second will go by. The time is slower for whatever reason that I really cannot start beginning to. And then I realized that when the train that travels in the speed of 400,000 miles a second crosses the station that is 400,000 miles long, does it um, claim matter um, existing on the station? So how does it affect matter there? Does it consume it? So that means once the train will cross the station, and it will take it a second, will speed be able to claim the presence of matter? So something like that. So when you think about it, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. Sorry, I have to. I'm a busy man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. I might have to. I think that's 42. Oh yeah. Anyway, I have a feeling that we'll have to cut it short because some emergencies are taking place that I have to leave. But but yeah, I would like to maybe continue and do half an hour, and I can. We got about 10 minutes, and maybe that will force me to condense and to utilize a summary of that which otherwise will take me a full hour to express and to externalize. So, can speed claim the presence of matter? Apropos Einstein's theory of relativity, or at least one little tiny ingredient slash aspect of it. And mind you, I think this way and I think about it while I'm actually pretty much, while I actually know almost next to zero about the actualization of this level of understanding when it comes to uh, um, the equations that creates that relationship between fictional theory and hands-on realistic configuration of of things that can be defined by equations, or just maybe even in a creative display of some kind of a skeleton that serves as a point of reference. Philosophically, I can conquer anything that comes to my way, even if it's very, very chemically or physically or um, um, uh, intrigue. I mean, intriguing in a very sophisticated fashion, um, and so that I think sometimes that kind of freedom allows me to uh, be able to understand what it is that people like Einstein try to convey and to make us understand and accept as a discovery, as an enlightening source, as things of this nature. So I really so when I think about, can speed claim the presence of matter, is a viable wondering, especially if you know just about to say, I understand what it means when time goes as it should go according to the duration stated, and the time slows down under certain circumstances that even a simple person can understand, can relate to. Um, but sometimes, we just, because we have to, because we have no choice, accept things at face value, and therefore benefit from the advantage that it creates for our own sake, um, and celebrate the fact that nothing is there that's causing us to be derailed and to be dysfunctional. I mean, if I would say temporary dysfunctional. So that's always a good news. And from there, you make progress. You make very slow progress, but still, nevertheless, progress. You make very slow progress, but still, nevertheless, an ongoing, continuous progress. And that is really the good news of it all. So, between the self imposed fences that actually serves up as a point of reference, not to slow you down or to force you to pause and therefore to think, because you are counting on the fact that people do that regardless, and they don't need any head game or any trick in place in order to find oneself having to do something that otherwise he or she won't be able to do it, or won't find themselves at that possibility. So you don't force a scenario that will bring you at the doorstep of something that is a part of your backyard. And so and if that's the case, then you know that it's always at your disposal and available. um, through the creative mediums that one can conquer, and understanding the deep meaning of it, and that actually the requirements for that to happen and prerequisites are next to nothing. Um, it's so minimal. Um, and that's not something you can understand ahead of time, and therefore prepare yourself, and therefore benefit from the process faster and better and more. It's just that you have to engage and initiate, and after that point of engagement, maybe if you're lucky, that will be available, that will be on display, that you can see it, look at it, and say, wow, wait a second, phew, I would have known that, or about that, ahead of time. But it can only happen to you once. Sometimes when it comes to you, when it surprises you, and you say, I could have done better if this was available to me beforehand. Now you know that it's your responsibility and it's your ability um, to make it happen. So you can make it available to you ahead of time. You can make it happen. And so, it's a good idea to find yourself being struck by good news constantly. Nothing to write home about, but the accumulation of it all becomes very, very meaningful very quickly. And you, by the time that you're realizing it, you actually are strong enough, rich enough, capable enough, durable enough, smart enough, efficient enough to uh, take full advantage of it, and to operate on levels with the intensity in the face of contents in ways that you would have never otherwise fathomed, that if it's at all a possibility for you to find yourself in this scenario. This is second nature that we're talking about, that doesn't have to be marked by a celebration or grand declaration. It's a given in your life early on, from the early stages of your awareness of the existence of creativity in the many forms it, that it makes itself available. Um, that amazement is ancient. I mean, you can be 10 years old and it will already be ancient, a part of who you are and who you definitely who you're going about to become. And that awareness that's based on a friendship, is comforting, uh, enlightening, inspiring, and above all, a friendly equation that reminds you that you don't have to find yourself completely out of it before you have some results yield uh, and make itself evident enough for you effortlessly noticing it. And that's the way we like it. Because at some point, as an artist, you know that time is short and work is plenty. And even if you can be a person that is successfully is able to predict what it is that is available by way of energy and by way of strength and durability in the face of the contents and the volume and the amount and the quantity. Uh, so suddenly you become like a scientist with a soul, uh, uh, an artist that is technique oriented and technique influenced, and the trust residing between these two forces that declares there is some ground available that is absolutely unconditionally accepting and inviting and encouraging and enlightening and declaring and stating all over again and making it be evident as as much as it already is. Of course, for sure, it's not like there are no inventions taking place, just recoveries. At most we can find something that is just dusty, and that's why we fail to recognize that it's there, and you kind of dust a little bit, and suddenly um, suddenly that discovery is coming across as a recovery. And guess what, the level of excitement facing a recovery is no less than facing a discovery, even if you yourself are the person who's responsible for this discovery. But in the same token, if all it took is a 1 second or a couple of seconds of a cleanup or months of hard work, it doesn't matter. It's one and the same. You will do that thing that you're about to do, and and the result will be significant and real and meaningful. And I think that I'm going to finish here prematurely. It's about half an hour. So today, the 18th day of December, on Wednesday morning here with the Hello Hello Show, and we're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here, as much as we're going to be here tomorrow, and as much as we're here this morning. I'll start all over again. We're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here, this morning, December 18th, Wednesday morning, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi. Keep up the good spirits. We love you, and we appreciate you and your creativity. God bless. We hope to see you soon here.